Hi. I'd like to forget my troubles for an hour.
Okay, great. Would you like to upsize to 75 minutes for only $5 extra?
Sure. Why not?
Hey there, come right on in. Merry Christmas.
Thanks. Back at you.
Do you have any tunes you want to put on or anything?
No, it's alright.
Oh, you're super down, hey? Well, you and me are gonna forget about those troubles for a while. You shouldn't feel bad, though. Tons of people don't have someone special to be with at Christmas.
Nah, it's not that. It's
all right. I won't start the timer yet. You're corpsing up on me here, dude, and I don't do necrophilia. What's up?
You seriously want to hear me out? It's kind of a tale.
Tell it, man. You came to the right place.
Okay. Bear with me, though. My name's Bruno Menderes. I'm in the Galactic Defense Force, 116th Infantry. Or, I was, at least. Nobody has fought like we're about to. That's the division's motto. I have it tattooed on my back. Anyway, we got posted to a base on this planet called Wante 4, which no one knows about except GDF Command and whoever pulls the strings. It's just a totally barren desert world a couple wormhole trips away, maybe half the size of Earth, and the only thing going on there is a gigantic secret oil drilling op, a few massive drilling sites and our little token prefab drop base, and about 100 million square miles of sand and rocks. No plants, no anything. Just an absolute shit ton of underground oil. Biggest reservoir in history. Way more than Earth ever had. And top secret, which is why you've never heard about it, and why there's no way I should be telling you this. Yeah. There's an entire planet's worth of oil out there. It's pretty fucked up. I mean, obviously Earth ran out of oil a long time ago, so this Wante 4 place was just the gold mine of gold mines. Just the most important place in the universe. Hence, they shipped out our battalion to provide security. Not that anyone was likely to show up and hijack the refineries, since no one else has wormhole-capable starcraft to the extent that the GDF does, let alone the coordinates. But if you find an entire planet of oil, then you fucking scatter some blue-ball grunts on it, just in case. The drill sites have been set up there, just robots completely automated. And it was January when we dropped in to babysit the place. Supposed to be relieved after 9 months. Fuck, but I think it was maybe 2 days after we arrived, things went seriously shit-shaped. So basically, one day everything just shut down. The drill sites, the refineries, the base systems, my fucking $2 wristwatch, anything electronic. Solar flares can have the same effect as an EMP, but the local star wasn't nearly close enough for that. The plug had just been fucking pulled for no apparent reason. And it was clear it was staying pulled. No damage to the equipment. No weather events, no fucking anything. Our shit just wouldn't run anymore, including, of course, the comms. So we couldn't even send a distress call or a, hey, your robots aren't drilling shit down here, because they're all the fuck shut down. Had to hope they launch a rescue when we failed to report in the next week. That's a fucked up feeling. Stuck on some fucking sandball that only a few hundred people even know about. Sitting on a pile of useless gear, because you can't explain why it won't run. Couldn't even rig a generator or anything. It was like physics had just fucked off and left us dicks in hand to burn our fucking spare uniforms to stay warm, which is what we did, I'll say that. Fuck, it got cold at night. Anyway, at the same time the power went off, something else started to happen. Anytime we went to sleep, we would be hit with just the most intense, fucked up nightmares that it's possible to have. Just the most stuff you can imagine. It was so messed up. Like, picture a cemetery or something, becoming something, I don't know, an entity, and holding you down, screaming into your soul for like 7 hours. Maybe you're in the ballpark of what we were experiencing at night. Everyone in the battalion, the exact same thing, just waking up screaming and shitting ourselves like fucking clockwork. Probably a dozen suicides the first night it happened, and the rest of us stopped going to sleep pretty fucking fast after that. Loaded up on stim packs, which we had like a billion of, standard issue, and collectively started going fucked in the head from fatigue. Stim or not, if you go long enough without sleep, you'll just fucking die. End of story. And guys started dropping like crazy after about the second month. Some people were able to handle it better than the rest for whatever reason. me included, so we tried to keep a routine going as best we could. Rank pretty much went out the window early on. Captains were all gone after a few weeks. And Lieutenant Stedler, well, a lack of sleep crossed some serious fucking wires in her skull, and she pretty much holed up nude in the med bay and did things I'm not going to describe. We thought she got pregnant, but it was just psychological. Like, she swelled up, but there was nothing in there. Shit like that just became the norm. A handful of us were clinging to sanity. The rest either dead or might as well be. People would give up and go off the stims, and they'd pass out and be dead in 3 fucking minutes, just asphyxiating in their sleep, because whatever was causing the dreams was just getting insanely worse. After like 6 months, being awake was almost as bad as being asleep had been at the start of it all. Brains all Swiss cheesed. There were basically 5 of us left by then out of 600 soldiers. Me, the James brothers out of the motor pool, Medic Rickard, and Sergeant Nichols. Thank fuck for the sergeant. That woman was built like a brick house. Fuck. Stopped talking early on. Not that she said much to begin with, but fuck, she kept it together and kept us in the game to the end. Yeah, so probably 8 months in, and one day Nichols drags us outside and she's pointing up. There's a ship in low orbit, and fuck if it's not one of ours. Holy shit, we're thinking. They finally come to get us the fuck out. So we're watching this thing as it orbits for like an hour. But then it starts to fade into the distance, like it's fucking leaving. Fuck, I literally almost died. But then we see it's launched a shuttle, and it's coming in to land near our position. The thing's cruising, just beautiful. But then maybe 300 feet up, the engine's cut out. The power goes like it did with everything else, and the thing just drops the rest of the way. Long story short, the only person aboard survives the trip, and it's this fucking officer from GDF Black Ops. This top-secret skunked-up fucker, Colonel Banachek. He tells us that HQ's written off the entire operation. Possible future salvage. And we've been left to die at our leisure. Like, hey, guess what? Command doesn't actually give a shit about you and never has. You're probably lucky they even gave you helmets. I guess it shouldn't have been surprising. But this guy Banachek, he couldn't live with it. Couldn't abandon us there. And luckily it only takes one guy, so he'd fucking stolen a fucking frigate and its auto crew and had flown in to somehow pull our shit out or die trying. There's stuff he's clearly not telling us. But we'll take help from Timmy the talking tapeworm at this point, so us and the Colonel set to work on figuring out how we're gonna fucking get back up to the frigate. Based on what we'd seen, it was possible the power dead zone only extended a few hundred feet off the ground, above which we might be good to go. So all we had to do was patch up the shuttle and think of a way to get it up there. Sergeant Nichols and Banachek were operating on the least amount of crazy, and they eventually got a rig together using a beam lever and pivots to ramp the thing into a canyon, hoping that the dead zone hugged the land, because it'd sure be easier going 300 feet sideways. Anyway, the setup takes like a month or 2. Fuck if I can even remember. But at one point another shuttle lands, then it's Black Ops troops sent to kill Banachek. Though I could have just hallucinated the whole thing, to be honest. And holy shit, we fought them off. They were in no way prepared for the nightmares, so the first night after they showed up, the dreams were on our side for a sec. And after that, fuck, we eventually got the shuttle rig ready to go. Fucking here goes less than nothing. And then the Colonel, he sits us down and he says, here's the docking codes and the wormhole cartography, and good luck, because he's staying put. He's not going back. And then he gives us the real story. Wante 4 was originally an Earth-like planet. No intelligent life, but fuckloads of flora and fauna, up until 10 years ago. It was discovered by GDF probes and then explored in full by the recon squad. Basically, the powers that be saw this alien planet swarming with life and figured it was perfect testing ground for some new tech they'd been sitting on. Earth's been out of crude oil for a long time. We've been bleeding a couple other minor planets dry since then. So I guess the GDF skunk works had worked up a beyond secret plan to take things to their logical conclusion. All they needed was a living planet that no one knew about. Mission W was the designation of the op. Crude oils derived from biomass, so the short version is that they brought in some D-class cruisers and just nuked the shit out of the entire planet, And then they trained this just insane time compression field on it so that the whole planet's worth of biomass had time to transform into gigantic underground reserves of black fucking gold. A lifetime supply, basically. Took about 9 years to do it. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. And Banachek? He was high up in Mission W. He was a major cog. He was sitting there in some skunk-ass frigate watching as it all went down as the drilling rigs were brought in. And when he couldn't live with it, when the power fucked off and the whole operation went tits up, the place was written off by the brass. Probably had another planet lined up for a second try. And our battalion was written off with it. And Banachek couldn't agree to it, so he went AWOL to get us the fuck off that planet, even though it was probably hopeless. The man saved our lives. And I don't care how responsible he was for everything. He was a fucking hero. But he was eaten inside, and he wasn't leaving the planet with us. He was going to head over to the main drilling site and come what may. Because the thing is, the dead zone and the nightmares had started when the main drilling had started that first week. And Banachek's theory was that the drilling had released something terrible. Call it the restless spirits of the billions of creatures dropped in one go by Mission W. Maybe killing the entire world in one go was just beyond nature, just beyond anything the universe was structured for. And down there, in the reservoirs, there was an entire planet's worth of fucking ghosts, or displaced consciousness, or electrical disturbances, or call it what you will. I'm not a believer in any supernatural shit, to be honest. But minimum, there was something besides oil that came out when the drills got down there, and it didn't mix with the human mind and its fucking little creations. Something that was pure anger. Anger that all that life and natural history was converted into fucking petroleum. Its home gone. Banachek figured that when we were asleep, we were catching a glimpse of it. But even if what we were glimpsing was purely internal, then it still fits if you ask me. Maybe that's what a ghost is. I don't know. Fuck. So anyway, as we got the shuttle into the sky, and we fucking got the fucking shuttle in the sky, the Colonel was heading off to Drill Site 1. The source of it all. To face what he had to face. I don't know how far he made it, but I do know he's one more restless spirit on that planet now. As for the rest of us, we red-eyed it the fuck out of there and made it back home. I don't even remember how. And now we're here staying under the radar for what it's worth. Like, there's no way I should be telling you this, but oh well, I guess. The 5 of us, we split up and headed back to where we came from. I grew up in this city. Parents are still here. Sister's in town a lot, and the whole time I was on that fucking planet, I just wanted to be back here where I started out. Never felt anything so hard as I felt that. When you're in trouble, I guess, or dying, you just want to go back home. Makes you wonder why you left in the first place. Anyway, I just got back last week, and turns out it's Christmas. You lose track of that stuff when you're off planet, so that was alright. But my brain's still back on Wante right now. Can't sleep more than an hour. Plus, I haven't been with a girl since before I deployed, so here I am at sex stop before I am, I guess. And yeah, I'm down. But right now, I think I'm down because I'm finally home and it's Christmas, and I don't know if that has me feeling worse or better. Everyone's home, everyone's with their people and focused on being where they want. And it's right, you know? It's just right, but it's a lull. It's a truce that doesn't last, and I just feel like I'm catching a glimpse of something better. Something internal, but which I know I can't fucking take in both hands. But it's all I want, you know? Can't get used to not having power. All oil's good for is us building oil rigs. Whine, complain, etc. Jesus Christ, what was the question again?
What's up?
Alright, well, yeah, that's what's up. Are you sorry you asked yet?
Bruno, man, I've spent the past 5 Christmases doing this job, listening to people bitch about how miserable they are at the holidays. Myself included, by the way, but I have never met anyone who had a good reason before. I want to give you something, and it's not going to last, but sometimes that's the best you can do.
We're still gonna fuck though, right?
Oh, dude, nobody has fucked like we're about to.